seen the skill of the Prince and the strength and the ability and the accuracy and the speed. Oh gosh, you know I'm the best in the world.
I can guarantee you that people will see me as the greatest.
Would you tell Muhammad Ali that?
Well, he's my idol, and I do love him to bits, but I will tell him at this time now of boxing, in this generation, I'm the best in the world and I am the greatest.
In the 1990s, there was once a 5-foot-inch British Yemeni making history in the boxing world. Known for his cocky and flamboyant personality.
Let me just put this straight to you first. I can never ever imagine myself losing, number one.
Unbelievable showboating and ominous knockout power. Selling out arenas before his opponents was even announced. Prince Naseem Hamed was recognized by the world as a global superstar, being one of the biggest stars in the world in history of boxing. After a successful amateur career, Naseem Hamed had his professional debut at the age of 18 and began rising through the ranks. He knocked out a series of opponents in a dominating and entertaining display.
Some of his antics can be very annoying. He's been called big-headed and arrogant, but can he fight at the highest level?
As Hamed started fighting better opposition, his popularity would grow massively, gaining a large fan base for his slick southpaw style and entertaining ring walks. After punishing opponents and beating them by the way of knockout, Hamed would be given his first title shot and would face Steve Robinson for the WBO championship. Robinson had 7 title defenses and was no paper champion. The bout took place on September 31st. The fight was held in Robinson's home ground. 16,000 fans attended, expecting to see him stop the challenger.
Tonight, this career which had such unpromising beginnings, a career in which it's all had to come the hard way, but it certainly brought Robinson great success, really beyond his wildest expectations.
Ago now, I've never seen a fighter, champion or challenger as relaxed as I have with you.
Well, you know, it's me through and through, Gary. I'm just so relaxed. Just me all the time, because I know I'm going to be world champion.
Are you still going with your prediction of 4 rounds? In the week, you were paying him credit and you've been a little bit more genial towards him, but when it comes to the fight, what's going to happen?
He's going to get stopped. He's going to get stopped or knocked out clean, believe me.
The bell went, Robinson would try to drudge forward, wait patiently to get into range of the challenger, but Naseem would outbox and get the better of Robinson. Hamed was effortlessly switching stances, demonstrating his extraordinary reflexes to avoid Robinson's pressure and punishment.
There's more than this around him to get in range. Seen good defensive work there from Hamed.
Hamed was dominating the fight until he dropped Robinson in round 5.
Robinson, oh, he's got him! Down goes Robinson for only the 2nd time in his career. Could this be?
Naseem was causing problems, looking like he barely broke a sweat during the performance. Naseem caught Robinson with a formidable left hook, and the fight was stopped.
Now he slipped.
Prince Naseem Hamed was crowned as the new WBO World Champion. This fight was the beginning to ascend the Prince into stardom.
Prince Naseem Hamed is starting to make a very significant impact.
The Prince would make 3 successful title defenses until it was announced that the British sensation would be making his heavily hyped US debut.
They're already talking about a date in the United States before the end of the year, and one of the possible opponents could be the former WBC world champion Kevin Kelly.
The Prince's arrival from Britain was covered by all and multiple major media outlets, and HBO invested over £1 million in promoting Naseem Hamed. Billboards of the Prince was all over the Times Square.
When I hit them, they unconscious. There's a big difference between my punching power and my rockets compared to his rockets. He got missiles. I got nitrogen bombs. When I hit him in the first round, he's gonna feel sorry that he ever thought about the third round.
Then if you were that quality of a fighter, then everybody will snap you up. But you ain't got anything.
Yo, I've been the black sheep.
Simple reason.
Marvin Hagler.
You ain't Prince.
I am the black sheep.
You ain't Prince Naseem. And after this fight, listen, I'm gonna trying to create a nice job for you, putting my posters up with HBO.
After tons of trash talk and press conferences, the fight would become an action-packed slugfest. Both fighters began hunting and started letting off their right hands
He's
exclusively.
a jab, dominating at this stage. And switching it to the right back. He's got my right hand, and he touched down again. He touched down again, and that will be another knockdown against Prince Naseem Hamed. He's getting caught off balance. He looks all over the place. He looks wide open. Hamed, when he gets into the...
Each fighter would score 3 knockdowns over one another. The Prince would fight through the adversity and put down Kelly for the final time to win by a 4th-round knockout. 15 successful title defenses and holding the belt for 5 years. The fight between Naseem Hamed and Marco Antonio Barrera was always talked about.
Morales and Barrera will come 2001 when they want it. And when they want it, they'll get knocked out, because I want it now.
You know, I'm boxing the best guy out there. And at this moment in time, I've got one guy on my mind, and that's Barrera.
It had been building up and had been years in the making, and was finally agreed upon in November in the early 2000s. Due to a mandatory defense, Hamed would vacate the WBO title as he was offered a fraction of his usual purse to face his mandatory challenger. As Hamed had never lost a single match, he was still seen as the lineal champion. Barrera was the reigning WBO champion.
Marco Antonio Barrera.
After a major buildup, the war began.
We went over the rules in the dressing room. I expect a good, clean fight. No rough tactics.
Barrera started the fight landing aggressive jabs repeatedly, as Hamed would try to get away and counter. Barrera would stun and rock Hamed. The Prince would push through. Barrera had an answer for everything, as anytime Hamed would try his own punch, Barrera would circle away and landed many counter punches, whilst Hamed would struggle landing any offenses, as Barrera wasn't charging forward to neutralize the Prince's powerful left hook. So Hamed tried mixing it up and changed to an orthodox stance. But all this did was give an advantage for Barrera for a different opening, and landed a ruthless hook that made Hamed switch back to his original stance. The round came to an end, and in the second round, the Prince decided to turn up the temperature and was landing better punches than before. Naseem tried landing a wide uppercut. Barrera seen this setup and fought fire with fire, controlling Hamed's hips. Bringing his whole weight down to crash on his opponent, Barrera made a clear statement to Naseem that he wouldn't be bullied like his previous opponents, and that he was the bully. Barrera would keep answering with lightning speed jabs and would get out of range. By the third round, Naseem was countering Barrera's jab and landing thudding body shots. The frustrated Barrera rushed in to try to regain control of the bout, but Hamed countered and Barrera was caught. Slowly, Barrera adjusted and got back control halfway through the round, and by the end of the round, both landed impactful shots and was in a close fight. As the rounds went on, both fighters was pushing themselves. Naseem would try repeatedly to test Barrera's chin, as Barrera pulverized and punished the Prince's body. Hamed would press forward with countered jabs and leaping hooks as the rounds kept going forward. The fighter was getting ahead. In Hamed's previous fight, the Prince would rely on his bizarre and unique footwork to stagger his opponents. This time it was getting him in trouble, rendered by Barrera with jabs. And Hamed didn't realize. Hamed missed Barrera with a lunging left hook, leading to Barrera to lock Hamed into a full Nelson and drilled his head into the turnbuckle. This was a bad look for Prince Naseem. Barrera was to duck the point. Barrera tried his best to knock out the Prince, but Hamed would stay out of range. Hamed, knowing he was behind on the cards and losing, he tried swinging wildly in hopes for a knockout. The Mexican Barrera was always one step ahead. In the final moments of the match. Neither man was put on the canvas throughout the fight, as both standing.
15 to 1 Bahazit, 116 to 111, and Patricia Jarman Manning scores it 115 to 112, all for the winner by unanimous decision, Marco Antonio Barrera.
Barrera handed Naseem Hamed his first and only loss for the lineal featherweight championship. The Prince would make a return shortly after, against Manuel Calvo. Naseem would beat Calvo inside 12 rounds on a decision, and would discuss returning to America for several big fights. Sadly, that match would turn out to be the Prince's final boxing match, and would retire due to chronic problems with his hands, including multiple fractures, including surgery. Naseem Hamed retired from boxing with an incredible record of 36 wins and 36 knockouts, and his only defeat is to Marco Antonio Barrera. A legend in history and one of the greatest boxers to exist.